The screen fades in on a modest diner sign buzzing faintly under a gray Tennessee sky. Rita's Diner, just off Highway 41 in Clarksville, Tennessee. It's the kind of place where the coffee's always hot, the locals know your order, and your neighbor's kid's baseball game is everyone's business. Inside, the tables are scuffed but spotless, the red vinyl booths patched with care. The air smells of sizzling sausage and slightly charred toast. Behind the counter, Carla, a 22-year veteran of the diner, hums softly while wiping down the coffee machine. Enter Marcus Tate, pushing through the door just after 9 a.m. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with a steady presence that fills the space. His faded army jacket and Gulf War veteran cap tell a story, and his slight limp hints at battles long past. Waiting for him in a corner booth is Jamal Carter, his old friend from their service days. A former Navy corpsman, Jamal's lean, quick with a joke, and still sharp as ever. He's sipping black coffee, scrolling through pics of his granddaughter on his phone. Jamal, grinning, not looking up. Thought you were gonna ghost me, man. Marcus, chuckling, sliding into the booth. You know me. Jamal, I don't move quick unless there's incoming. They laugh, a deep, easy sound, the kind that only comes from men who've seen too much to take a quiet morning for granted. They dive into conversation, kids, creaky joints, VA wait times, and that one wild night in Kuwait when Jamal patched up a soldier with dental floss and a prayer. Marcus, grinning, biscuit in hand. You remember Captain Hayes' face when you doused that wound with bourbon like it was antiseptic. Jamal, shaking his head. Man, looked like I kicked his dog. They're not here to brag or relive glory days. This is just two guys who've carried heavy loads. Finally catching a breather. Carla swings by with a warm smile. Carlin, more coffee. Fayaz. Marcus, lifting his mug. Keep it flowing, Carla. We ain't got plans. But just as she turns away, the bell above the door chimes sharply. In walks a man, late 30s, stocky, in a deputy's uniform. His name tag reads Palmer. No smile, no glance around, just a quick scan of the room before he beelines for their booth. His hand hovers near his belt, too deliberate to ignore. Jamal notices. Marcus doesn't blink, but his jaw tightens just a fraction. Carla pauses by the coffee pot, watching Jamal low. To Marcus, you know this dude. Marcus, barely shaking his head, never laid eyes on him. Deputy Palmer, clearing his throat. You two got IDs on you. No greeting, no context, just a demand. Jamal blinks, leaning back slightly. Jamal, excuse me. Palmer, IDs. Got a call about two suspicious guys hanging around outside the diner. Need to know who you are. Marcus, sitting up, voice level. We've been here eating breakfast. What's the problem, exactly? Palmer doesn't answer. His hand shifts closer to his radio. Carla steps forward, her voice calm but firm. Carla, deputy. These guys are regulars. Been coming here for years. Palmer barely acknowledges her. Jamal crosses his arms, eyes narrowing. Jamal, we didn't do a thing. You sure you're in the right spot? The room goes quiet. Nearby tables turn to watch. The air feels like it's holding its breath. A peaceful moment suddenly split open, but Palmer's not budging. And neither are they. Deputy Greg Palmer doesn't move like he's second-guessing himself. There's a rigidity to him, not confidence but something closer to control. He stands just far enough from the booth to keep it tense, eyes fixed on Marcus and Jamal, his jaw set. Jamal sets his coffee down deliberately, leaning forward. Jamal, loud enough for the room. So, what? Someone called the cops because two black veterans were eating pancakes. Palmer, I'm responding to a report. That's it. Marcus, hands visible, voice steady. You said we were loitering. Did the call say we were armed? Causing trouble? Threatening anybody? Palmer sidesteps the question, his hand now grazing his radio. Carla hesitates, then reaches for the phone under the counter, her fingers shaky. At a nearby table, a young woman, Sophia Morels, visiting her aunt in town, watches closely. She'd been filming reels with her breakfast earlier, and now quietly flips her camera back on. Capturing Palmer's stance, Marcus is calm, and Jamal's growing frustration. Marcus, sighing, measured. Look, officer, I'm retired Army. Jamal, here's a Navy corpsman. We come here every few weeks to catch up. Nobody's loitering. Palmer, blinking once. You got a problem showing ID? Jamal, sharper now. I got a problem with you zeroing in on us, while ignoring everyone else in here. You didn't ask Carla. Didn't talk to a single other person. Palmer glances around. Middle-aged couples, a few farmers in worn caps, a pair of electricians all staring. Some curious, some uneasy. An older man, Mr. Hargrove, stands slowly from his booth. Mr. Hargrove to Palmer, skeptical. These guys bothering you? They're not bothering anybody, Carla voice rising. They're customers. Deputy vets, you're the one stirring things up. Sophia's camera keeps rolling. Marcus locks eyes with Palmer and slowly pulls out his wallet. Marcus, you want ID? Fine. Here he sets his military ID on the table, face up. Jamal following suit. Here's mine. Since eating breakfast is suspicious now. Palmer stares at the IDs but doesn't touch them. After a beat, he mutters, Palmer, I'll need to call this in. Jamal exhaling sharply. Call it in. Call whoever. We're not moving. Palmer lifts his radio. Unit 19 to dispatch. I have a voice cuts through from the doorway. Lieutenant Raymond Holt firm, stepping inside. Stand down, Palmer. Everyone turns. Holt, mid-60s, in a crisp uniform with tired eyes, takes in the scene and knows exactly what's gone wrong. He strides toward the booth. Holt, I heard the call. Someone phoned in from a blocked number. Said 2 black men were out of place outside the diner. No weapons, no threats, nothing solid. You escalated this. He turns to Marcus and Jamal, nodding respectfully. Holt, Mr. Tate, Mr. Carter, I'm sorry this happened. Jamal leaning back. Guess we weren't as invisible as we thought. Holt, glancing at the IDs. No need to show me anything. I've seen you both at the Veterans Day ceremony. You read the names last year, right? Marcus nodding slowly. We remember. Palmer lowers his radio, his jaw twitching but silent. The quiet isn't peace, it's a spark, and Jamal's not done. Jamal's frustration doesn't fade with Holt's arrival. He leans forward, elbows on the table, his voice low and deliberate, like he's said this too many times before. Jamal, Deputy, Tennessee Code, Title 39, Chapter 13, Section 305 says, you can't demand ID without a specific offense. You didn't name one. We're eating waffles, not breaking laws. Palmer's eyes flick to Holt, seeking support, but Holt stays still. Instead, he turns to Carla. Holt, ma'am, did these men cause any issues before my deputy showed up? Carla, pouring coffee into Marcus's mug. Only issue is they're low on caffeine. The sound of the coffee pot hissing cuts through the tension. Sophia, still filming, whispers updates to her live stream. Comments flood in. Why's the deputy so tense? Vets deserve respect. Is this Clarksville? Jamal catches Sophia's phone and gives her a nod. She nods back, a silent packed Marcus voice heavy, to Palmer. Deputy, I was born 15 miles from here. I fought in Fallujah, built half the homes on this side of town. The only thing out of place is how you're treating us. Tot Holt stepping closer, to Palmer. Procedure says, use discretion. Greg, you skipped the staff, ignored witnesses, and targeted to men without cause. That's how lawsuits start. Jamal cutting in. You meant to do this. It's the same script: walking, driving, eating, existing. We know it by heart. The diner falls silent again. Even the cook stops clattering pans. At a nearby booth, an older couple, Mr. and Mrs. Ellis, watch quietly. Mr. Ellis speaks up. Mr. Ellis, Lieutenant, my son's National Guard, wears a cap like theirs. Feels wrong they're being treated like thieves. Holt nodding. Appreciate that, Sir. Jamal to the room. This ain't just about us. It's about any kid who sees a badge and wonders if it'll mark him as trouble just for his skin. We're grown, we can take it. But what about the next kid when no one's filming? Carla's eyes glisten. Sophia's stream erupts with hearts and preach comments. Palmer shifts, finally looking away. Palmer muttering, look, maybe I misread things. Marcus low, you didn't misread, you assumed. Holt placing a hand on Palmer's shoulder. Step outside, Greg. We need to talk. As they exit, Sophia's camera catches Holt's quiet words. One bad call can end your career faster than a commendation builds it. The door closes, leaving a strange calm. Jamal exhales. Jamal, every few months, same story, different stage. Marcus half smiling. At least we got free refills this time. They chuckle, but it's weary. Sophia approaches, phone lowered. Sophia, I'm streaming. Want me to stop? Jamal shaking his head. Keep it rollin'. Truth needs light. Carla sets down to warm apple turnovers. Carla, on the house. Lieutenant'll handle that rookie. Marcus, closing his eyes, savoring the scent. Thanks. Carla, outside. Through the diner's smudged windows, Palmer paces while Holt speaks, hands steady like a mentor giving tough love. Traffic hums on Highway 41, oblivious to the drama inside. Rita's back in the booth. Jamal pulls out his phone. Jamal, should we call the paper? Get ahead of the spin. Marcus shrugging. Let's see what Holt does. Man's got sense. Might save us the hassle. Sophia checking her phone. Folks online want to pay for your meal. Maybe start a legal fund. Marcus smiling faintly. Tell M thanks, but hold off. We didn't ask for cash. We asked for respect. Carla, refilling sugar jars, nods. Carla, world run better if more folks thought like that. A faint siren wails in the distance, fading fast. Inside Rita's time feels fragile yet vivid. Jamal glances outside. Jamal, think Palmer's learning anything out there? Marcus, hard lessons stick if he's willing to learn. They raise their mugs in a quiet toast. Jamal, to change. Marcus, to change. But the diner door's about to open again, and this time, the apology comes with a twist. Asterisk, the bell above Rita's diner door jingles, pulling every eye to the entrance. Lieutenant Raymond Holt steps back inside alone, his posture straight, but carrying the weight of someone else's mistake. Outside, through the diner's streaky windows, Deputy Palmer paces near his cruiser, head down. Holt walks directly to Marcus and Jamal's booth, his voice calm but softer now. Holt, gentlemen, I've spoken with Deputy Palmer. He's off active duty pending a full review of this incident. Jamal raising an eyebrow. Suspension, or just a timeout? Holt, internal review protocol. He's young, but youth doesn't excuse this. I'm sorry you were put through it. Marcus, nodding slowly. Appreciate you saying that where folks can hear. Before Holt can respond, Carla cuts in from behind the counter, her voice sharp, like a pot finally boiling over. Carla, no offense, Lieutenant, but this ain't Palmer's first misstep. 3 weeks back, he hassled a delivery guy, said he looked shady just for dropping off packages. No apology then. Ether just walked away when it fell apart. Holt frowning. You didn't report it. Carla twisting a rag in her hands. Didn't think anyone care, but maybe I should've. The diner feels heavier now, the kind of quiet that makes people shift in their seats but keeps them glued to the moment. This is small-town truth, not loud but grinding, eroding trust one incident at a time. Mrs. Ellis, still seated with her husband, speaks up, her voice soft but clear. Mrs. Ellis, we've seen these two come in here for years, always kind, always pay their bill. If folks can't eat in peace because of how they look, something's broken in this town. Sophia, still filming, pans across the room, catching nods of agreement, furrowed brows, and forks paused, mid-bite. She mutters to her stream. Sophia, this is gonna open some eyes. Carla leans on the counter, her voice steady now. Carla, last summer, Jamal stayed with a customer who had a heart scare till the ambulance got here. Marcus fixed my porch after that big storm. You think those are the kind of men who stir up trouble? Holt's thumb tracing his notepad. I can't control what people assume, but I can say this department needs better training. Maybe today's the start. Jamal, unblinking. Training's a start. Accountability's the finish line. Holt nodding. Fair point. Sophia to Holt, will this review go public? Holt, I'll push for transparency. People deserve to know when we mess up. Marcus and Jamal exchange a glance, the kind that says they've been here before but hope this time carries weight. Marcus breaks the silence. Marcus overseas. We didn't care where you were from. You had my back, I had yours. Didn't matter your face or your hometown. Jamal adding, but back home, that uniform comes off, and suddenly you're just another face to suspect. Carla refills their mugs without asking, her voice low. Carla, hate, that's the world we're in. Holt, stepping back. If you want to file a formal complaint, I'll back it. But for now, I'm sorry, not just for today, but for what it says about the work we've still got to do. Marcus, we're not mad at you, Lieutenant. We're just tired. Jamal, tired, don't mean quiet though. Sophia glances at her phone. Sophia, people online are asking for Palmer's badge number. Holt, raising an eyebrow. It's public record. They can have it. Jamal grinning slightly. That's how you start rebuilding trust. Holt heads for the door but pauses. Holt, I'll be in touch. As the door swings shut, the diner exhales, tension easing but not gone. Sophia stops her stream and looks at Marcus and Jamal. Sophia, you think this'll change anything? Marcus, scanning the room. Carla, the LS's, the cook peeking out. Depends if folks keep talking when the cameras leave. The diner's still humming with that uneasy edge, like everyone's waiting for the next shoe to drop, but not everyone's ready to let it go. 15 minutes pass. Marcus and Jamal stay in their booth. Apple turnovers, half-eaten coffee cooling. The diner hasn't settled back to normal. The air's too charged. Marcus sips his water, then speaks low to Jamal. Marcus, man, I didn't sign up to go viral over breakfast. Jamal, rubbing his neck. Yeah, well, I didn't plan on being a suspect for ordering hash browns. They share a quiet laugh, more disbelief than humor. The door creaks open, and the room tenses. For a split second, it's not Palmer, it's a middle-aged black man in a FedEx uniform, glancing around like he stepped into a storm. Carla waves him in. Carla, come on in, hun. We're still serving. He nods, heading to the counter, but his eyes linger on Marcus and Jamal's booth just a moment longer. A silent nod of recognition. Jamal catches it. Jamal to Marcus. He felt that every black man knows the playbook, even if we don't say it. A woman from a nearby booth, mid-30s, blonde ponytail, wearing a florist's apron with the name Lindsay, steps over. She fidgets, then speaks. Lindsay, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry you went through that. I was sitting right over there and didn't speak up sooner. Marcus kindly saying something late beats, not saying it at all. Lindsay offers a small smile and returns to her seat, her face wrestling with the weight of staying silent. Too long. Jamal leans in, voice dropping. Jamal, what gets me, man? Palmer saw us and saw trouble. Not the tours, the scars, the service, just the skin. Marcus, pulling out his military ID, setting it on the table. You know what this means to me? Means I gave more to this country than it ever gave back. Buried buddies younger than my kids, and still some deputy can walk in and act like I'm nobody. Jamal, placing his ID beside Marcus's. I served longer than that kid's been wearing a badge. Marcus, calm but heavy. 3 decades. He didn't give us 3 seconds before deciding who we were. Sophia, phone in hand, starts recording again. Sophia, that Linai served longer than he's worn that badge. People need to hear it. Jamal nodding, not for clout, for truth. At the counter, the FedEx driver, name tag, reading Derek, speaks up. Derek, saw the last bit from outside before I came in. Almost kept walking. Didn't want to be next. Jamal, surprised. You were gonna bounce. Derek shrugging. Yeah, but seeing how you handled it made me stay. The weight of that lands. Marcus turns to Derek. Marcus, glad you stayed. Fears loud, but showing up's louder. The door opens again. A kid, maybe 16, clutching a notebook and phone, steps toward the booth. His voice cracks. Kid, I'm Caleb. I go to Clarksville High. Saw the video online. Would it be okay if I wrote about this for the school paper? Jamal, glancing at Marcus, who nods. You want to tell the truth? Caleb, yes. Sir. Jamal, then right. Caleb beams, like he's been handed a torch. But what they don't know yet is this story's already outrunning the school paper. Sophia's phone buzzes, notifications piling up. She checks her stream, eyes widening. Sophia, over 50,000 views in 20 minutes. Y'all are trending. Jamal, dry chuckle. Funny how the world finds you when you're just trying to eat. Marcus, thumb on his ID, silent. Derek lets out a whistle. Derek, that's bigger than this whole town. The TV above the counter, usually on sports highlights, flips to a local news channel. A bold ticker reads, Local deputy confronts black veterans. Video goes viral. Sophia's jaw drops. Sophia, you're on Channel 5 already. Jamal, looking up. We haven't even left the booth. Sophia, someone tagged them. It's on X, TikTok, probably read it by now. Carla mutters as she packs a to-go order. Carla, Lord, help us. Marcus, even. This could help us or paint a target. Jamal, nodding. Dice roll. But we didn't back down. Sophia's phone rings. She answers on speaker. Voice, Sophia Morales. This is Kendra Wells with WTVF News in Nashville. We saw your video. Can we do a live interview? Sophia, I'm not the story. These two are. Pause. Kendra's voice returns. Kendra, would they speak on camera? Jamal tilting his head. Tell her, we'll think about it. Sophia relays it. Kendra responds. Kendra, understood. Please stay put, we're sending a crew. She hangs up. Sophia's cheeks flush. Sophia, that escalated. Carla, bringing napkins, smirks. Carla, if you bring a news van to my lot, at least let me fix my lipstick. A small laugh ripples through, loosening the grip of the morning's tension. But then, Jamal notices an older man by the window, sitting alone, eyes sharp like he's seen decades of trouble. His name's Walter Boone, a Vietnam vet, known for keeping to himself. Walter stands, walks slowly to the booth, and looks at Marcus and Jamal. Walter saw what that deputy did. Didn't sit right, not one damn bit. He pulls a faded military patch from his pocket, worn but proud, and sets it on the table. Walter, you earned that breakfast, and a hell of a lot more. Marcus picking up the patch, nodding. Thank you, sir. Walter returns to his seat, staring out the window like nothing happened. Sophia whispers, Sophia, that's going in the video. Jamal grinning. Leave that man alone. He'll haunt your comments. More folks approach, quiet thank yous, a handshake. Someone offers to cover their tab. Another slips Carla cash for their next few visits. Sophia's stream climbs past 120,000 views. Derek checks his phone. Derek, you all don't need news crews. You're already headlines. Jamal to Marcus. Ever think a turnover could spark this? Marcus smirking. Not the turnover, the principle. Outside, a van with a WTVF logo pulls up. A cameraman hops out, setting up. Inside Rita's, two friends sip their coffee in their usual booth. The world's shifting, but they haven't moved. Yet the sheriff's department's watching, and their next step will stir the pot even more. The glass door of Rita's diner swings open, and the news crew steps in, bringing a fresh wave of tension. The hum of conversation dies down, replaced by the expectant quiet of a room that knows it's being watched. The cameraman sets up near the counter while the reporter, Lena Brooks, in a sharp blazer and polished boots, introduces herself with a careful smile. She approaches Sophia first, microphone in hand. Lena, we're live in 5. Just a few questions. Are the gentlemen okay with being on camera? Jamal leaning over, already weary. Only if we speak for ourselves. Lena nodding. That's the deal. Marcus glancing at Jamal, then back to Lena. Keep it short. The camera's red light blinks on. Lena faces the lens. Lena, we're live from Rita's diner in Clarksville, Tennessee, where a viral video of an encounter between two black veterans and a sheriff's deputy has sparked outrage online. Joining us are Sergeant Marcus Tate, U.S. Army retired, and Jamal Carter, former Navy corpsman. Thank you both for speaking with us. Can you tell us what happened this morning? Marcus leaning forward slightly. We came for breakfast, like we do every couple weeks. Next thing we know, Deputy Palmer is at our table, demanding IDs. No explanation. Didn't talk to the staff. Didn't look at anyone else. Just us. Lena, do you believe you were profiled? Jamal not hesitating. Ain't a belief, it's what happened. Profiling's when you assume guilt based on skin, not actions. That's exactly what he did. Before Lena can follow up, the diner door opens again. Sheriff Vernon Cole steps in, late 50s, weathered face, cowboy hat tucked under his arm. He moves, deliberately, no entourage. Just a man who's spent decades on patrol. Every head turns. He pauses by the counter, locking eyes with Marcus and Jamal, then nods to Lena. Sheriff Cole, mind if I say a word? Lena gestures for the camera to keep rolling. Lena, go ahead. Sheriff Cole steps forward, his voice steady but weighted. Sheriff Cole, I watched the video. All of it. What happened here was wrong. Plain and simple. Murmurs ripple through the booths. Cole looks straight at Jamal and Marcus. Sheriff Cole, I reviewed Deputy Palmer's report. It doesn't match the footage. That's a problem not just with his judgment, but with how he's been trained to think. Marcus raising an eyebrow. So what's next? Sheriff Cole straightening. Palmer's on administrative leave while we investigate his actions and review our training protocols. This isn't just one deputy's mistake. It's a deeper issue we've got to address. Jamal meeting his gaze. That's a start. Sheriff, but words don't fix trust. Sheriff Cole nodding. You're right. He pulls a folded letter from his pocket. The first wrote a formal apology from the department. It'll go public, but I wanted to give it to you first. He hands the envelope to Marcus, who takes it, glances at it, and sets it beside his military ID without opening it. The camera zooms in, capturing the moment. Lena takes a breath. Lena, Sheriff, there's talk online of protests, calls for firings. How do you respond to the public's reaction? Sheriff Cole, they've got every right to be upset. When we break trust, people react. It's not their job to stay quiet. It's not their job to stay quiet. It's ours to listen and act. Sophia, still at the counter, wipes her eyes, her phone still streaming. Marcus speaks up, his voice measured but firm. Marcus, apologies are fine. But this town's seen promises before reviews, reports, no change. What's different this time? Sheriff Cole, locking eyes. I'm asking you both to help us fix it. Meet with my board, talk to our recruits, help shape policy. If you're up for it. Jamal dry chuckle, didn't expect a job offer with my coffee. Jap Sheriff Cole, you've earned it, and we need your perspective. The diner feels electric, like a spark just caught. But outside, the parking lot's growing crowded. And not everyone's here to clap. The sun climbs higher, casting long shadows across Rita's parking lot. Sheriff Cole steps outside, the news crew trailing him. A small crowd has gathered, some drawn by the viral video, others by the news vans. A few hold signs, respect our vets, and justice now. Faces range from curious to furious. Cole stands by the diner's door, holding the same letter he gave Marcus and Jamal. Sheriff Cole, voice clear, deliberate. I'm reading this publicly. This letter was drafted this morning after reviewing the footage from inside Rita's diner. He unfolds the paper. Sheriff Cole, to Sergeant Marcus Tate and former Navy Corpsman Jamal Carter. On behalf of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, I offer our deepest apology for how you were treated today. You deserved respect, fair judgment, and service from those sworn to protect you. We honor your decades of sacrifice and regret that our actions failed to reflect the gratitude you're owed. We're reviewing this incident to address individual responsibility and rebuild the trust we've damaged. Your strength today has shown us what service and dignity mean. Signed, Sheriff Vernon Cole. A hush falls, then a single clap breaks the silence. Another joins, then more, until a steady, earnest applause spreads through the crowd. Inside, Jamal watches through the window, arms crossed. Jamal quietly to Marcus. Think he means it? Marcus shrugging. Feels real for now. Sophia turns her phone to show the live stream chat. This sheriff gets it. These men are heroes. Send this to DC. She wipes her eyes again. Carla approaches with a paper bag and 2 to-go coffees. Carla, I know you ain't leaving yet, but when you do, breakfast's covered for your next 10 visits. Marcus smiling. That's a lot of waffles. Carla grinning. You earned M. From the booth behind Lindsay, the florist who apologized earlier, stands again, holding a small, weathered box. Lindsay, my grandpa was in Korea. Didn't trust many folks, but when he passed he left me this. She opens the box, revealing a folded American flag, faded but pristine. I always said I'd give it to someone who reminded me of him. I want you both to have it, to know not everyone forgets who keeps this country safe. Jamal standing first. We can't take that. Lindsay firmly. You can. Grandpa would have wanted it with men who know its weight. Marcus accepting the box gently. Thank you. Before the moment settles, another figure steps in, a tall man, buzz cut, in a sheriff's department t-shirt. The room freezes. He approaches the booth and extends a hand. Deputy Travis Reed. I'm Travis Reed. Worked with Palmer. I saw the video, and I'm sorry. Jamal sizing him up. Appreciate it. Travis, lowering his voice. What happened doesn't speak for all of us. But words don't mean much unless we prove it. Marcus shaking his hand. Then prove it. Every day, every call. Travis nods and leaves quietly. No cameras follow. Sophia captures the moment, her lens lingering on the flag box. Outside, Sheriff Cole shakes hands with a few protesters, promising a town hall next week. Some nod, skeptical but listening. It's not perfect, but it's something. Inside, Marcus and Jamal stand, IDs and flag in hand. Jamal didn't think eggs would spark a national debate. Marcus smirking. Life's got a way of turning a mess into a moment. The crowd outside thins, but the video's reach is growing, and the sheriff's department's next move is about to raise bigger questions. The parking lot clears slowly, like dust settling after a storm. News vans pull away. Signs are tucked into car trunks. and the crowd dwindles to a few lingerers. Rita's diner stands unchanged, same chipped paint, same creaky screen door, same faint smell of grease and coffee. But inside, something's different. Marcus and Jamal sit in their booth, the table cleared, the morning's weight still hanging between them. Jamal stretching. Think this is done. Marcus watching the last van leave. Never done. But we caught our breath. Sophia slings her bag over her shoulder and approaches, hesitant, like she's leaving a family gathering. Sophia, I just want to say thanks, not just for what you said, but how you said it. No yelling, no drama, just facts. Marcus, smiling. Yelling never worked as well as knowing your rights. Jamal, nodding. And you kept that camera steady. That mattered. Sophia holding up her phone. This ain't about views. It's about Mac and Shaw. Nobody can say, well, maybe it didn't go down like that. Now they know. Marcus stopping her. Tag us if you post more. But don't make this about us, it's bigger than that. Sophia thoughtful. Got it. Carla slides into the booth across from them. Apron crumpled, face tired but warm. Carla, first time in 20 years I've seen a sheriff apologize in this diner. Jamal sipping water. How's it feel? Carla, like a late assignment finally turned in. Waiting to see if it passes. She glances outside. Think the town's gonna keep talking. Marcus, they're talking now. Across the street, a couple of teens point at their phones, staring at Rita's like it's a landmark. Inside, a young couple at the window replays Sophia's video on a tablet, whispering between bites of pie. The tension's faded, replaced by a buzzing curiosity. Jamal notices. Jamal, where the story folks tell over dinner now. You hear what went down at Rita's. Marcus leaning forward. Good. Maybe it'll make someone think twice next time. The door chimes again. A woman in her 60s, grey hair in a tidy bun, steps in with a foil-wrapped dish. She approaches the booth. Mrs. Evelyn Shaw. Hope I'm not intruding. I'm Evelyn Shaw. Live a few streets over. Saw the video. She sets the dish down. Didn't know what to do but bake. It's sweet potato pie. My late husband's recipe. He was Navy. Gone 7 years. He'd have been mad as hell at what that deputy did. Marcus standing to shake her hand. Thank you, Ma. Single quotes and Evelyn scanning the quiet diner. This place feels different today. Hope it stays that way. Jamal nodding. So do we. Evelyn leaves. The scent of warm pie lingering. Carla smirks. Carla, you'll better take that pie before I claim it. Jamal laughing. Not Shireen. Marcus chuckles, but there's a quiet truth. They don't voice. They'd rather be just two guys eating breakfast, not a headline. Still, the impact's undeniable. Marcus checks his phone. A text from his son. Saw the video. Proud of you. Dad, call me. Another from an unknown number. Thank you for standing up. You spoke for a lot of us. Jamal's phone lights up to a cousin in Memphis, an old Navy buddy, all saying, we saw, we heard. Carla gathering their glasses. Need anything else? Jamal looking around. Nah. Just glad we're still sitting. The diner's nearly empty now. Just a few regulars nursing coffee at the counter. The news replays the morning's footage on a loop. Outside, Rita's sign flickers, struggling to keep up with the moment. Marcus and Jamal step to the parking lot's edge, watching the world settle. Jamal, remember that time in Afghanistan when that supply officer stopped us for walking off base? Marcus grinning, said we were out of line, and you told him, I'm not lost, I'm just done, marching in squares. Jamal got me a week of KP duty. Marcus laughing. Worth it. They stand shoulder to shoulder, like they did in tougher places than a Tennessee diner. Sophia loads her gear into her car. The sheriff's cruiser rolls away. A kid, maybe 13, rides by on a bike, slowing to stare. Jamal waves. The kid waves back and pedals on. Jamal think he'll remember today. Marcus, if his folks talk to him about it, he will. If they brush it off, he won't. Jamal nodding. That's what keeps me up. They fall silent. The morning's weight settling like dust. The lessons are still sinking in, and the diner's story is far from over. Rita's diner sits quiet now. The parking lot nearly empty as the last news van pulls away. The faded sign flickers under the Tennessee sun. Same as always, but the air inside carries a new weight. Marcus Tate and Jamal Carter remain in their corner booth, the table bare except for the folded flag from Lindsay, the pie from Mrs. Evelyn Shaw, and Sheriff Cole's unopened apology letter. The morning's chaos lingers like a dream. But the diner's still a diner, grease in the air, coffee stains on the counter, life humming on. Marcus leaning back, voice low. You think this thing's really done? Jamal watching a car pass on Highway 41. Never done, man. But we got a minute to breathe. Sophia Morales, packing her gear, approaches the booth one last time, her phone still buzzing with notifications. She hesitates, like she's saying goodbye to more than just a story. Sophia, I gotta thank you both, not just for speaking up, but for doing it with class. No shouting, no show, just truth. Marcus smiling faintly. Shouting gets you nowhere. Knowing your rights, that's what shifts the room. Jamal nodding. And you held that camera steady. Sophia, that's what made it real. Sophia holding up her phone. This wasn't about clout. It's about making sure nobody can twist the story, say it didn't happen like it did. Now the world's got the receipts. Marcus, before she turns away, keep us tagged if you post more. But don't let it be just about us. This is bigger than two guys in a booth. Sophia eyes thoughtful. I hear you. Carla slides into the booth. Across from them, her apron creased, face showing the wear of a long morning but still warm. Carla, in 22 years, slinging hash here. I never saw a sheriff say sorry to anybody in this diner. Jamal, sipping water. What's it feel like? Carla, like a library book returned 10 years late. Gotta see if it's worth the fine. She glances out the window. You think Clarksville's gonna keep this conversation going? Marcus, they're already talking. Across the street, three teens huddle over a phone, pointing at Rita's like it's a historic site. Inside, an older couple at the counter replays Sophia's video on a cracked iPad, murmuring over their pie. The tension's gone, replaced by a restless curiosity. Jamal clocks it. Jamal, we're the dinnertime story now. You hear what happened at Rita's? Marcus leaning forward. Let Em tell it. Maybe it'll make someone pause before they act next time. The bell above the door chimes softly. A woman in her late 50s, hair in a neat braid, steps in carrying a foil tray. She approaches the booth, her voice gentle but sure. Mrs. Lorraine Brooks, hope I'm not bothering y'all. I'm Lorraine Brooks, live a block over. Saw the video. She sets the tray down. Didn't know what to do but cook. It's cornbread, my mama's recipe. My brother was Army, passed a decade ago. He'd have been spittin' mad at what that deputy pulled. Marcus standing to shake her hand. Thank you, ma'am. Much appreciated. Lorraine looking around. This place feels bigger today. Hope it holds on to that. Jamal nodding. That's the hope. Lorraine leaves, the warm scent of cornbread mixing with the pie's sweetness. Carla smirks. Carla, you'll better take that cornbread before I sneak a piece. Jamal grinning, hands off. Carla, Marcus chuckles. But there's an unspoken truth between them. They'd trade all the attention for the chance to just eat in peace. Still, the ripples are real. Marcus checks his phone. A text from his daughter. Proud of you, Dad. Call soon. And another from a stranger. Your words hit hard. Thank you for standing tall. Jamal's phone pings to his sister in Atlanta. An old Navy buddy from San Diego. All echoing the same. We felt it. Carla clearing mugs. Y'all need anything else? Jamal scanning the diner. Just glad we're still here. The diner's nearly empty. Just a few regulars lingering over coffee. The TV above the counter loops the morning's news clip. Sophia's footage now a national talking point. Outside, Rita's sign hums, trying to keep pace with the moment. Marcus and Jamal step outside, standing at the lot's edge, watching the world slow down. Jamal, remember that time in Kuwait when that MP stopped us for wandering near the mess hall? Marcus, grinning, said we looked out of place, and you told him, I'm not lost, I'm just tired of marching to your tune. Jamal, got me 2 days, scrubbing pots. Marcus laughing, you'd do it again. They stand side by side, like they did in deserts and dust storms far from Tennessee. Sophia waves as she loads her car. The sheriff's cruiser is long gone. A girl, maybe 14, coasts by on a skateboard, slowing to stare. Jamal waves. She nods and glides on. Jamal thinks she carried this day with her. Marcus, if her folks break it down for her, yeah. If they shrug it off, probably not. Jamal quietly. That's the part that stings. They fall silent, the morning's weight settling like gravel. Marcus speaks, voice steady. Marcus, why didn't you just hand over your ID and let Palmer walk? Jamal, 'cause I'm done shrinking to make folks comfortable. I gave this country to tours and a bad shoulder. I don't owe anybody proof I belong. Marcus' hand on Jamal's shoulder. That's why I didn't stop you. Jamal nodding. This kind of thing, it grinds you down. A stare here, a comment there, a call saying we're suspicious for eating biscuits. Marcus, it does. But when we hit back with calm, with facts, with our history, that builds something stronger. Jamal, respect don't come from a badge. It comes from how you treat folks who owe you nothing. Marcus glancing at Ritas. Today didn't surprise me, but the way this town showed up, that caught me off guard. Jamal chuckling. Yeah, that old vet with the patch. Didn't see that cumin. They laugh, a real laugh, not to bury the pain but to say, we're still standing. Marcus pulls Sheriff Cole's letter from his pocket, unopened. Jamal, that apology mean anything to you? Marcus shrugging. Means something to someone. Maybe that deputy who saw it. Maybe the next cop who watches the video and thinks twice. Maybe that kid on the skateboard. They turn back to the diner. Inside, Carla wipes tables. Sophia's coffee cup sits by the pie and cornbread. The flag rests between their IDs. Marcus taps the window lightly. Marcus, this place is just a diner. But for a few hours, it was more. Jamal, a mirror, showing the whole country what's what. Marcus, what we reflect back, that's on us. They don't need to say more. No speeches, no hashtags, just a shared understanding between two men who've carried wars, raised families, buried friends, and still get questioned for ordering coffee. They step toward their cars, but Marcus pauses. Marcus to no one in particular. Don't let silence speak for you. Know your rights. Stand firm. Stay cool. And never forget your stories. Got power. Jamal grinning. Even if it starts with a side of hash. The lot's empty now. Just the hum of Highway 41 and a dog barking down the street. But the story's not over. It's just finding its legs. And the world's starting to listen. The diner's door swings shut behind Marcus and Jamal as they head to their trucks, the morning's weight still clinging like dust on their boots. Inside, Carla stacks plates, her hum barely audible over the low drone of the TV. The news ticker flashes. Clarksville veterans, story sparks national debate. Across town, phones light up with notifications. Sophia's video now at 200,000 views and climbing. At a barbershop 3 miles away, men debate over clippers. Was the deputy out of line, or just doing his job? At the high school, Caleb scribbles notes for his article, his pencil shaking with purpose. Back at Rita's, a lone customer, an older man in a flannel shirt, sips his coffee and mutters to Carla. Customer, those fellas handled that deputy better than I would have. Carla, wiping the counter. They handled it better than most. Outside, Marcus leans against his truck, checking his phone again. Another text, this time from his pastor. You and Jamal showed grace under fire. Church is praying for you. Jamal, unlocking his car, laughs at a message from his granddaughter. Grandpa, you're famous. Don't let it go to your head. Jamal calling over. My kid's already giving me grief about going viral. Marcus grinning. Tell her it's your face, not your ego. Blowing up. They share a laugh, but their eyes scan the lot, half expecting another cruiser to roll in. It doesn't. Instead, a woman in a postal uniform pulls up, glances at them, and nods a small, knowing gesture. Jamal nods back. Jamal, that's what keeps me going. Folks who get it without a word. Marcus, yeah, but it's the ones who don't get it that keep this cycle spinning. They climb into their trucks, the engines rumbling to life. As they pull onto Highway 41, Rita's diner shrinks in their rearview mirrors, but its story is growing on screens, in group chats, in quiet conversations across Clarksville and beyond. Sophia's video hits X, where a thread dissects every frame. Look at their calm, that's strength. Another post calls for a boycott of the sheriff's department. A third shares the diner's address, urging support for Carla's business. At the sheriff's office, Vernon Cole sits at his desk, watching the footage again. His chief deputy knocks. Chief deputy, sheriff, we're getting calls. Media, locals, even some out-of-state folks. What's the play? Sheriff Cole rubbing his temples. We own it. Set up the town hall. Invite Tate and Carter. Make it public. And get me a list of every complaint against Palmer. This ain't about one day, it's about fixing what's broken. Back at the diner, Carla answers the phone. A local radio station wants to interview her about the incident. She hesitates, then agrees, but only if they mention Marcus and Jamal by name. Across town, Caleb's English teacher reads his draft article and pulls him aside. "Teacher, this is powerful." "Caleb, you're not just reporting, you're witnessing." Caleb nods, his nerves settling into purpose. By noon, Sophia's video crosses 300,000 views. A Nashville activist group shares it, calling for a rally. A veterans organization in Memphis reaches out to Marcus and Jamal, offering legal support. The story's no longer just Clarksville zits, a spark catching fire. Marcus pulls into his driveway, his wife waiting on the porch. She hugs him tight. "Wife, you okay?" "Marcus, yeah, just didn't expect breakfast to turn into a sermon." Jamal, at his apartment, calls his daughter. Her voice crackles through. "Daughter, Dad, you and Uncle Marcus made the news. You looked tired but strong." Jamal, smiling, "Tired's about right. But we're still standing." As the day winds down, Rita's diner closes early, Carla locking the door with a sigh. She leaves the pie and cornbread on the counter, a note taped to the foil, "For Marcus and Jamal, come back soon." Outside, the sign flickers off, but the story's glow is just beginning to spread, and what happens next will test everyone's resolve. Asterisk, the sun dips low over Clarksville, casting long shadows across Rita's diner. The parking lot is empty now, the news van's gone, the crowd dispersed. Inside, the diner feels like it's holding its breath, tables wiped clean, the smell of coffee and cornbread lingering. Marcus Tate and Jamal Carter have left, but their booth sits untouched. The folded flag, Sheriff Cole's letter, and Mrs. Evelyn Shaw's pie still on the table, like relics of a morning that changed everything. Carla locks the door early, her face tired but resolute, as the neon sign outside flickers off. The story, though, is far from quiet. Sophia's video rockets past 400,000 views, shared across X, TikTok, and local Facebook groups. In a Clarksville bar, regulars argue over beers. The deputy was just doing his job, right? Nah, he crossed a line. At a church potluck, a deacon replays the footage, sparking murmurs of "We need to talk about this." Caleb's school paper article circulates among teachers, one emailing it to a local journalist with the note, "This kid's got something." Marcus sits at his kitchen table, the TV on low, showing a Nashville anchor dissecting the diner incident. His wife, Denise, sets a plate of leftovers in front of him. "Denise, you didn't eat much today. Talk to me." Marcus, poking at his food, didn't expect a plate of eggs to turn into a whole movement. "Just wanted a quiet morning." Denise, sitting across, "You and Jamal showed what strength looks like. That's not quiet, that's loud in the best way." Marcus manages a small smile, his phone buzzing with another message. "Veterans for Justice wants to connect. Can we call?" He sets it down, not ready to answer. Across town, Jamal sprawls on his couch, video calling his daughter Aisha, who's in grad school in Chicago. "Aisha, Dad, you're all over my feeds. People are calling you heroes." Jamal, rubbing his eyes, "Heroes? We just wanted pancakes. But if it makes folks think, I'll take it." "Aisha, you looked exhausted. You okay?" Jamal, grinning. "Exhausted's my default, but I'm good. Your granddad would have been proud." Though Aisha nods, her eyes soft. Jamal's phone pings a text from his old Navy CO. "You still got that fire. Carter, stay sharp." At the sheriff's office, Vernon Cole meets with his team in a cramped conference room. The mood's tense, the table littered with coffee cups and Palmer's personnel file. "Sheriff Cole, we're not burying this. The town hall's set for next week. Open to the public. Cameras welcome. Tate and Carter are invited to speak, and I want a full audit of our training. Every call, every complaint, especially Palmer's." "Chief Deputy, sir, some deputies are worried about backlash. They're saying it's one bad apple." "Not the whole department." Sheriff Cole firm. "One bad apple's enough to sour the barrel if you don't pull it out. We're fixing this, or we're not worth the badge." He glances at a monitor playing Sophia's video on mute. Marcus's calm voice echoing in his head. "What's different this time?" Back at Rita's, Carla reopens the next morning, the diner busier than usual. Regulars mix with newcomers, some curious, some there to support. A young couple leaves a $50 tip with a note, "For Marcus and Jamal's next breakfast." A woman in a business suit asks Carla if the veterans will return soon. "Carla, they'll be back when they're ready. This is their spot." She tucks the pie and cornbread into the fridge, the flag and letter safely stored behind the counter. The TV flips to a national news segment. A pundit praising Marcus and Jamal's composure, while another argues the deputy was just following protocol. Carla mutes it, shaking her head. Across town, Sophia sits in a coffee shop, editing her footage for a follow-up post. Her phone's flooded with messages, some thanking her, others accusing her of stirring drama. She ignores the noise, focusing on a new clip. Walter Boone placing his patch on the table. Marcus's line about serving longer than Palmer's worn a badge. She captions it, "This isn't just a story, it's a wake-up call." Sophia posts it, and within minutes, it's shared by a veterans group, then a civil rights page. Comments pour in. "These men are legends. Clarksville's gotta do better. Where's the deputy now?" A local radio host calls Sophia, asking her to guest on a show about the diner that shook Tennessee. She agrees, but only if Marcus and Jamal get the spotlight. At Clarksville High, Caleb presents his article to his journalism class. His classmates lean in as he reads. Two veterans sat down for breakfast and ended up teaching a town about respect. His teacher, Ms. Rivera, pulls him aside after. "Ms. Rivera, Caleb, this is more than a school paper piece. Send it to the Clarksville Leaf. They need to see this." Caleb, nervous but proud. "You think they'll run it?" "Ms. Rivera, make them." By midday, the story's reach stretches beyond Tennessee. A veterans organization in Atlanta offers Marcus and Jamal a platform at their next conference. A law firm in Nashville emails, offering pro bono support if they pursue a case. On X, a hashtag trends, hashtag RITAS, diner. A Memphis pastor tweets, "Marcus and Jamal didn't just stand their ground, they showed us how to stand with dignity." Marcus and Jamal meet later at a park, sitting on a bench overlooking the Cumberland River. The air's cool, the world quieter here. Jamal tosses a pebble into the water. "Jamal, you think we should do that town hall? Talk to Cole's recruits?" Marcus, watching the ripples, "Maybe. Not for us, but for the next guy who just wants to eat in peace." Jamal, "Feels like we're carrying a torch we didn't ask for." Marcus, "Always were. Just got a name now." Jamal pulls out his phone, showing a message from a stranger. "Your calm saved my faith in people today. Thank you." Marcus reads it, then hands it back. Marcus, "That's why we didn't walk away." Jamal, nodding, "And why we won't." They sit in silence, the river flowing steady. Back at Rita's, Carla tapes a sign to the door. "All are welcome, always have been." A delivery driver, passing by, snaps a photo and posts it online. It gets 10,000 likes in an hour. Across Clarksville, conversations hum in diners, barbershops, living rooms. Some defend Palmer, most don't. But all agree, Rita's diner isn't just a diner anymore. The camera pans out, Highway 41 stretching into the distance. Rita's sign, a small but stubborn light in the dusk. Marcus's voiceover cuts in, steady and clear. Marcus's voiceover. "This started with a breakfast we never finished, but it's not about us. It's about what happens when you stand up, speak truth, and don't let silence win. Know your rights, hold your ground, stay calm, because your story, even the small ones, can change everything." Jamal voiceover, chuckling. "Even if it kicks off with a side of bacon." The screen fades to black, text rolling. "If this story hit you, share it. Keep the conversation alive. Subscribe for more stories that matter." As night falls, Clarksville settles, but the story doesn't. Sophia's follow-up video hits 100,000 views by midnight. Caleb's article lands on the Leaf Chronicle's editor's desk. Sheriff Cole schedules a press conference, promising updates on Palmer's review. Marcus and Jamal, back home, field, calls from family, friends, and strangers, all asking the same question: what's next? At Rita's, Carla unlocks the door the next morning, the flag and letter now framed behind the counter, a quiet testament. A new customer, a black teen in a ROTC jacket, sits in Marcus and Jamal's booth, unaware of the history. Carla serves him coffee with a smile. Carla to herself, "Keep coming back, kid. This place is yours too." The diner hums with life, the world outside still grappling with what happened inside. The story's not over, it's a seed, taking root, waiting to see what grows.